Hi everyone, we're going to talk about the 7th grade Common Core Notes lesson 2.4. The lesson is titled Multiplication and Division of Rational Numbers. This video is strictly going to focus on dividing decimals that are positive and negatives. To divide, you're going to literally set up a long division problem and you're going to make sure you include the negative and positives in the quotients. And these are the rules in dividing integers that are going to be applied. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, and a negative divided by a positive is a negative, and vice versa. Please remember that 3/5 means 3 divided by fifths, and you set it up 3 is being divided by fifth, and in this answer, it's 6/10 is your answer. I have 2 examples that I'm going to do, and you will be expected to do long division. So, in the first example, I have 10 is being divided by 0.22. 10 is being divided by 22 hundredths. Because there's a decimal point in the divisor, I write an equivalent expression that doesn't have a decimal in the divisor, and that would be, how many times does 22 go into 1,000? 22 goes into 1 0 times, 22 goes into 10 0 times, 22 goes into 100. If I don't know, I doodle it. So I'm going to try 22 times 9. That is too much. So I'm going to try 22 times 5. That's too much. So 22 times 4, 88. So when I go ahead and I say that it goes in there 4 times, I write the 4 above the 100. 4 times 22 is 88. I subtract, and I bring down my 0. 22 goes into 120. Well, I know that it goes in there 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. That's 11. And then I have 22 goes into 100. Well, I knew that was 88. And then it looks like this is going to go ahead and keep repeating because 22 goes into 125 times. So I need to figure out where my decimal point was. I started adding decimals after the 1,000, which appears to go ahead and be right there. So a negative divided by a positive is a negative. And because 45 is repeating, I put a bar over the 45. I set up my long division problem. I put the decimal point out of the divisor by writing an equivalent expression and then moving the decimal point into the quotient or the answer. And then I do long division and I don't have a remainder because I keep adding 0. So this would be my final answer. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I have 12.166 divided by 1.54. There's a decimal point in the divisor and I cannot have that, so I move it over 2 to make 154, and then this would be 121.6.6. And even I can move that decimal point right up in the decimal point, right up into the quotient right away. So now this is a big number, and so I literally started doodling off to the side. So 154 goes into 1,000. I mean, I'm going to guess 6. So I'm going to multiply by 6 on the side. 24, 32, 9, not big enough. 154 and 7, 8, 35, 39, 109. Oh, that should be a 7. Let's see, 35. Oh, that's a 2. 1078. And then I subtract. And I get 138, and I bring down my 6. Well, 6 was too small. 7 was too small. I'm going to go ahead and try 8. 43, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's too small. 154 times 9, 6, 35, 38, 48, 1386 with no remainder. So I knew that when I go ahead and got my 138, that was the 7, and what I just did was the 9. So with your long division, you're gonna have to doodle. Doodle on the side. Make sure that you're getting rid of the decimal point in the divisor and writing an equivalent expression with no decimal point in the divisor and moving it over in the dividend. Make sure you're moving your decimal point up into the problem. And in the end, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So my answer is just 7.9. Please make sure that you're going ahead and that you're writing all the things down that I wrote down, making sure you're highlighting if you need to the special tips that I'm asking you to come tomorrow class prepared about, and then make sure that you're writing any questions or concerns in the sides. Thanks guys, have a good one.